All right. So no cue cards, but you can do the applause anytime you want. Thank you. So thanks so much for being here, everybody. We are so excited. So let me scoot in just a little bit. Maybe just be careful. Yeah, don't fall off.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm your Elysia Stovey, your Mortgage Millions mentor, and I'm so excited to be here today. I am in Kansas City, home of wonderful people and delicious barbecue. And I'm here for this conference that the VA has. It's been an amazing day. I'm going to let John, first of all, thank the audience for being here. And thank you, John Bell, for being with me here today.
No, thank you so much. And behind us, we have a multitude of people that actually stayed late today. So thank you all very much. You know, they love veterans as much as I do, and certainly they would rather be eating barbecue right now. But they somehow we talked them into staying just a little bit late so that we could do this. So I appreciate the time, and looking forward to sitting down and discussing more about VA.
Thank you so much. So what an amazing day. I mean, I actually did a live a little bit earlier today that was super short, but just saying that I'm so impressed with everybody who showed up here, took their time, traveled away from their company, away from their family, to be here to learn more about how to serve veterans better in the lender community. And thank you so much also for everybody at the VA who came to share their knowledge. The panels today were amazing. The speakers today, you, Mike Frew, amazing. I can't wait. We have another 2 days. So I'm very excited to learn more and take back as much as I can to my team so that we can have smoother, better, more closings for veterans. And I know that you went over, you shared some amazing statistics this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that this is mostly for loan officers, but some realtors do listen, and definitely I can get this out to realtors as well. I think a lot of the statistics that were shared earlier today are very important for realtors to know, especially as, you know, in some areas we're heating up again in other parts of the country for sales. So if you would be so kind as to share some of those statistics about down payment, credit score, all the great stuff.
Yeah, first of all, before I get into data, because I could talk about data all day long with this program, is the passion that the audience members behind us share, both from our staff as well as all of the lenders, the servicers, the appraisers that are all here supporting the program and trying to, one, increase their craft, get better at what they do, but also learn more how they can serve the veteran community and this program that we call, you know, their product of choice. So data and stats, you know, are never ending. You know, from a VA perspective, if you're looking at VA compared to other loan products, you have to first look at the borrower characteristics. Aside from the fact that veterans have proven over and over again they're great for your community, and you know, they're also great borrowers. We got 722 credit scores, the average of 40% debt ratio. We have a residual income requirement. Residual income is basically that amount of money that they have left at the end of the day after all of their expenditures. Other programs don't have that. All of those type of things are there in place so that if a veteran does face a financial impact, especially from the initial part of that they're able to save that, you know, and just proves how much more of a secure borrower they are. They've got an average of 54,000 in assets, which for a realtor community should mean a lot. And that's because even if their value comes in either over list price, you know, over bid amount, veterans can bring that difference to the table. And a lot of realtors do not realize that, and agents. I will also say that the strength to close. VA has an 80% percentage of, once you have qualified that borrower, and the veteran has signed that sales contract, they are 80% likely to close on that transaction. That's a really, really important stat that's overlooked in a lot of different facets. So just from a borrower characteristic standpoint, I could talk all day. But then you got to look at the performance of the program as well, and the performance of that loan. So veterans outperform almost every lending program out there. They do so because veterans want to thrive. They want to stay in that community. They want to stay in that home. We always say at the VA that it's just as important to put a veteran in it's just as important for a veteran to stay in a home as it is for us to put them in one. So in that context, we have a lot of protections in place for veterans that want to buy and purchase. The average number of veterans that are first-time home buyers are around 34%. That is an absolutely amazing stat. Again, I could talk about that all day long. So what do you want to hear?
Well, that was great. And I love the part where you were talking about going the extra cash, right? Because that was such a challenge the last couple of years for buyers, and automatically, a lot of these sellers just assumed that if it was a veteran buyer, that they didn't have the ability to go over and above the sales price if need be.
Right.
And it's interesting because that's coming back. I just had somebody go under contract this weekend. They were not a veteran, but they had to put in a little escalation clause, and then they also had to put in a little appraisal gap. Not as much as we had seen, probably 12 months, 18 months ago, but still it's coming back. So that's great info. The other stat that I loved that you shared earlier today was how fast VA loans close, because there's this misperception. Actually, if we could just talk about the top 3 VA myths.
Sure.
Right. So we can start.
Hit me with them.
Yeah. So I only have one time to use my VA benefit. Number 1 myth.
Not true. I've used it 5 times. And there, I would not have been able, there's some points in my life where if I had not had the VA loan, I would not have been able to purchase a home. And that is significant because we not only want to be there from a product of choice for veterans that, yeah, they could use VA no matter where they bought, right? Because of all of those borrower characteristics we just talked about.
Absolutely.
So they are great borrowers. On the other hand, there are also borrowers that are first-time home buyers. There are also borrowers that are veteran borrowers that they need a chance to get into a home. The program serves those veterans as well. We can't forget how important this benefit is to them in whatever facet of life they are that they're in. So it certainly can be used more than once.
Excellent. Number 2 VA myth. VA loans take longer to close.
Yeah, the numbers just don't bear out, especially here lately where we have decreased. We've seen significant decreases in appraisal time. A lot of that has to do with we opened up the ability for desktops. We opened up that depending upon the amount of money that the borrower's putting down. We also allow our appraisers to use external sources for them to finish appraisals. Whether or not that's a realtor taking pictures, whether or not it is them using other electronic sources to be able to fill in that appraisal at the end of the day. As long as they certify the value, then we're okay with that. And so we've kind of opened up that aperture for them, which has reduced the time frame significantly over the past couple of years. If you take 2 years ago, we were honestly a little over a year ago, we were around 14 to 16 days in appraisal delivery time. We're now looking at 7.1 days in appraisal delivery time. That significantly has cut down on the number of days it takes to close a loan, which we hope will in turn allow veterans to compete more in that bid process and get into homes where they're competing against 3 to 5 other offers where they are they're winning those.
That's fantastic. And those numbers are amazing because literally seven days to turn an appraisal is faster than conventional.
Well, especially when you talk about the protections, right? You got Tidewater. So you got a, Tidewater is basically where, the appraiser gets the, sales contract. They're looking at the sales contract and they're like, whoa, there may be a problem here. And so they go out and, to the lender and says, hey, you need to submit us the best comps that you can, because I just don't see the value here. And then that's where the lender really has the opportunity to say, hey, we already know they're going to pay overall, list price, and they've got enough money to cover the difference, move forward, or they can or they can supply additional comparables to the appraiser, and the appraiser can decide whether or not those comparables will help them in deriving the value on that contract. And then the other part of that process is our reconsideration of value process, where, hey, what if the appraisal doesn't come in at what they thought the appraisal was going to come in? The veteran can certainly raise their hand and say, hey, we need a second look at this appraisal, this value, to determine whether or not the value actually is correct. So there aren't many other programs, if any. There's certainly no other programs that offer both. And you could argue that that our program certainly offers the protections that others don't at all.
And it is a gift. I was listening this afternoon during the Q&A and a woman stood up and she said, it's a gift. Other programs don't have this, where they give you the heads up that there could actually be an issue. And that's a huge benefit as well. There's so many when you stack them up. I mean, it's like,
yeah, we believe the same thing. We also, we haven't even talked about servicing, right? So what happens if things go downhill? And what happens if things go downhill fast? Our VA stands ready. We're answering phones in less than less than a minute in most cases. And these aren't, we're not putting call center employees and answering these phones. We are putting our best and our brightest, our subject matter experts, to help answer those questions that come in, whether or not they're from the lender, the servicer, the appraiser, or the veteran. We want to make sure that from a stakeholder standpoint, that end user experience is relevant, and we're providing consistency to those questions. So we think that's certainly an important piece to just foundationally how much we care for our veterans.
very important. And so we were talking about the myth that VA loans take longer to close. So we know that's not true from an appraisal standpoint. And also you shared some stats today about underwriting and actually closing. And it looks like VA again is ahead of FHA and conventional.
Yeah, so when I started in this program in 2010, we were about 1% market share. We've grown to 650%. And I'm not saying this because I caused this. This is our staff that has caused this. This is the processes and the procedures that we've changed, the modernization that has gone on. But first and foremost, it's the lenders and the servicers and the providers that provide this program to our veterans, that give them the opportunity, to be successful. And I think veterans are seeing that, and we're hoping that more realtors and agents are seeing that as well. So in the 650% growth, we've grown that overall market share from 1% up to 14%. And we look at that number and we look at it more than just a number. We look at it as our ability to increase the want and the desire for veterans to take advantage of that program. It's kind of like, what's your baseline of performance, and how do you measure what that baseline of performance is? It's more veterans want to get in and use the VA benefit, and more providers want to provide that opportunity for them to do so. And so we think that that's certainly one of the indicators that we look at and the success of the program.
It's definitely a win-win. So with veterans being only 5% of the population, yet 14% of loans, is the 14% refis and purchase, or just purchase together, or just purchase alone?
Well, I will tell you that refinance at this point in time is a very small percentage of what we do. IRRRLs are pretty much non-existent, and our IRRRL program, which is our interest rate refinance program, it's really a rate term. It is there to give the veterans that are at a certain interest rate to get them into a cost savings where they're saving themselves on that new rate and payment. From a cash out standpoint, we're still seeing some cash out refinances coming, and most of that is still born from I live in this home. I want to renovate, and I want to make this home better because I know I'm not going to leave. And so they're using their cash out to help with that, or they're using their cash out as well, on purchasing a new home. And so, we see both of those cases, but the large percentage, we're only around 14.8% below where we were some of our biggest years in purchase volume. And if you compare that across the industry, we're looking at only a 14% reduction in those for VA, whereas the other programs are looking at 30 and 40% reductions. So we think that, again, that shows an indicator that that veterans are choosing VA to finance, which is encouraging.
That's fantastic news. So it was interesting today. I heard the Beth Carpenter story, which I love to hear Mike tell. And one of the things that he said, make sure you remind your people, Elysia, that when you're doing a loan application, when you're talking to a new buyer, always make sure and ask, have you served? Might you have VA benefits? Has a loved one, like, spouse, deceased, served? Because in addition, truly, the VA loan is part of the VA benefits program. In addition, though, there's so many other benefits that they may not even know they have. And it's just such a touching story when he tells it. Just a reminder, loan officers, please ask.
Hey, the exciting thing here is, one, Beth Carpenter's story is certainly an exciting story on its own. But some other pieces to that story is, in the 44 years leading up to 10 years ago, we did around 10 million in volume, I'm sorry, 18 million in volume. Since in the past 10 years, we're seeing, we've almost doubled that, and not doubled that. I'm using that term loosely, but we certainly have seen about 12 million on the books, which we will surpass 28 million in the next month or two. So we're really excited on passing that milestone, and that again is attributed to just the growth and the strength of the program and the veterans that we serve.
Yeah, speaking of the growth and strength of the program, when it comes to ease of use, what was the stat one day to get COE online? Like, I remember maybe it would take a few days, but it's so fast right now. It's so easy.
Yeah, 10 years ago, we were, again, 10, 12 years ago, took us almost a month to process a eligibility. Now, over 80% of the time, that eligibility is instantaneous. And we can process eligibility completely in less than 3 business days, about 98% of the time. So really exciting progress in the eligibility piece, and we think that's also attributable to reducing the number of days in that process. Over the last 10 to 12 years. So again, just exciting things that modernization can do, and looking forward to increasing modernization. Throughout. I want to mention one other program real quick that I don't get a chance to mention often, but the 75th anniversary of our Special Adapted Housing Program is coming up. Our Special Adapted Housing Program is for our most severely disabled veterans. It can be used in conjunction with the guarantee, and that's something that's underutilized, and we would like for more veterans to be able to take advantage of. And so it is an extremely important program. If you can imagine living in your home and not being able to get around. And what this does is it helps to retrofit that home to where you can move around freely. So it's one of the most important benefits, certainly that we provide. Again, just another part of the equation of the multitude of benefits and them working together to get veterans into a better position of not only home ownership, but also ability to move around freely.
And with that program in particular, would that be a question for a lender? Would that be a question? How would that vet find out about that?
So it's a VA program, but they certainly can call, we want the lender to know more about it so that they can ask those questions. And again, we certainly would want, veterans to call us and we will walk them through that process. Again, just another great benefit for veterans that is not talked about a lot. I want to make sure that we certainly give it its due.
And would I be correct in thinking that perhaps also, for example, loan officers should tell the contractors they know so that they could tell the veterans and spread the word? Or is there another?
I'll take anything.
Okay.
Right?
All the trades.
At this point, more information is better information. Even if it's the wrong information sometimes, at least showing and directing them to the experts in that case, which is VA, I think is the courageous thing to do, right? Don't be afraid to say, I don't know everything about this program, but if you call VA certainly can help you. That's what we're there for. And we would rather you do that than give false information to give, to give information you're not fully equipped with. And it's also really important for us to know that you're not fully equipped with the information that you need on the front lines and providing this program, because we need to make sure that you are, we can certainly help throughout that process.
Fantastic. Lots of stats, lots of great info here in Kansas City today. Is there anything else we should share with our audience of loan officers, branch managers? Thank you guys all again for being here.
Other than, look, we had around 650 here.
Fantastic numbers.
Great numbers for, especially in the environment that we are. Thank you all so much for staying late. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. If you're not offering this program, then you're costing veterans money. And veterans, if you're not utilizing the program, never ever let someone talk you out of using it. So I hope that you find it as rewarding as I have over the years. We hope you use it more. And any information that you need, please let us know.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
here. Thanks for letting me interview. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks
All right.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.